Accucare Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine in Brick, New Jersey offers a state-of-the-art facility with all the best and current treatments. With athletic trainers, massage therapists, and doctors of physical therapy, Accucare has everything you need to stay healthy and perform at the highest level. Cupping, stretching, laser therapy, compression boots, and a full body cryo chamber are just some of what you can expect at Accucare. Check out their website and social media links in my bio. No prescription is needed to see them. So call them today and start feeling and performing at your best. Again, thank you to Accucare for sponsoring the Shore Football Report. Just got two things to say right now. First, I want to thank Accucare. They are awesome, our great sponsor. Get there. If you haven't been there yet, make an appointment, get to Accucare, especially towards the end of the season when your body needs to get that extra push and be healthy on the football field. Rehabilitation, recovery, they are the best. Make an appointment, call them and tell them you're coming. All right. The Shore Football Report is definitely endorsing going to Accucare. They're the best out there right now. And they have athletes going there around the clock, all sports, and that's that. And also, when you're transitioning to another sport, your body is gonna be needing this Accucare treatment because you're using different body parts. So just make sure that you utilize Accucare, located in Brick. They are the best. I love being associated with them. They are part of the team, the Shore Football Report team. All right. The other thing I want to say is this: subscribe to the Shore Football Report YouTube channel. Every one of you, when you watch it, click subscribe. It's free. It's free. Turn the notifications off if you don't want to hear it, but subscribe. By you subscribing, says thank you. I need 1,000. I want 1,000 subscribers. Please, 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 please subscribe. Scott Stump says I don't say it enough on our show. That's why we don't got 1,000 subscribers. But subscribe. All joking aside, it's the cool thing to do. All right. Join the Shore Football Report team. We got so many things that are going to be going on our YouTube channel, not just our talk shows. We're going to have extensive all-star team coverage that we're going to do. Also, yes, you've been asking, the Stumpy Awards, they're coming back. The Stumpy Awards are coming back from 8 years ago, and I know you guys are going to love it. So we're going to have all my all-star teams, all county, all shore, all division, my rankings of players, because I changed things up and seeing how guys are playing, adding the freshmen, the 2026s are going to be included in that rankings too. It's a lot of stuff, all going to be on our YouTube, the Shore Football Report YouTube. Subscribe. You won't want to miss it. In the off season, I'll be doing things around the clock for recruiting, talking with college coaches and coaches from all over the country will be on my talk shows throughout the off season. There's no off in my season. All right. Subscribe to the Shore Football Report, and also, more importantly, make an appointment to Accucare.
Non-public A, we still have one Shore Conference team left, and they have the tallest order of any Shore Conference team this week. Donovan Catholic has to go on the road to face perennial powerhouse Bergen Catholic, number 2 in the state, loaded with FBS recruits. Second year in a row, these two teams are facing off. Donovan Catholic lost 35-7 last year. Griffins, though, got the great excitement there in their first round game. They beat Hudson Catholic 27-20 in overtime.
Huge win.
When Todd Lamberson hit their tight end Hunter Johnson for a touchdown pass in overtime. Najee Calhoun, the star freshman, 155 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Bergen Catholic loaded once again. We'll go right through it. Sidear Mitchell, their D lineman, is committed to Texas. DJ Samuels, their edge rusher, committed to Maryland. Kaj Sanders, one of their all-around athletes, multiple offers. Nair Daniels, O-line, multiple FBS offers. They have a 1,000-yard rusher. Saeed St. Fleur, Quincy Porter averaging 20 yards a catch. Malachi Mercer with 88 tackles on defense. Quarterback-wise, they actually rotate quarterbacks. Jack Duffy and Dominic Campanile. Dominic Campanile is the son of the head coach, Vito Campanile. We know all the Campaniles. They've coached at Bosco and Bergen, and one is the offensive coordinator at Rutgers now. So if you're Donovan Catholic in this game, what are your expectations going into, facing off against one of the best teams in the state, kind of one of the gatekeepers of this bracket for a lot of years?
To compete, and Coach Sergione wants this program to be able to compete against Bergen Catholic. And last year, they played them real tough in the what was it? Was it semifinals or quarterfinals? I think it was the quarterfinals last year too. Played them tough in the first half, really tough. They were able to run the football, move the ball, resist them a little bit. I mean, there was a couple plays where it didn't go their way. I thought there was one bad call they had in the first half, but the game was postponed and they had to come back into the second half. Now, people were messaging me, Donovan's got them where they want them. They already have film what they're doing in the first half, so they're going to be all right. Listen, they do too. And, it's tough to beat a Bergen Catholic team. And they eventually kind of widened the gap and they lost to them. But I thought they're closing the margin of Bergen Catholic. Think of it. The program's come a long way with him the last couple of years. So this is where he wants to be. This is the benchmark, playing Bergen Catholic or Don Bosco. And that's what he wants. Getting his home win was huge. Now going up North Jersey and to compete. Because he told me flat out, he don't want to just compete. He wants to win. And that's the next step because he's done everything. He's won a division title where he's in the program. They've won state playoff games, but now they want to beat those top 5.
And I mean, that to me, that's just tough because that's the biggest challenge for any team in all of New Jersey.
It's tough.
That's the final hurdle for any team. Bergen, Bosco, St. Peter, St. Joe, Montvale. It's like that group, that cluster, pretty much every year is the powerhouses. That's the wall that so many people can't break through with any. You had some Paramus Catholic teams here and there that were loaded and guys like that. But yeah, it's to say like, oh, that's the final hurdle. I mean, that is an incredible bar to have to
Scott, this bracket has got to be the toughest one in the country. Think of it. Like, I mean, you're talking about top teams in the country are all in one bracket.
Right. Yeah, it was surprising this year. None of them are. We don't have a single New Jersey team ranked in the top 25 in most of the major national polls. But most of the time, 1 or 2 or even 3 of these teams is ranked nationally. So yeah, that part of it. But I also think this is a big game recruiting wise for a lot of these Donovan Catholic players. You heard me just name a bunch of these guys on Bergen Catholic. Well, they're going to be going head up against them.
Yeah.
You're telling me they might not catch a coach's eye with a great individual showing against some of these guys? Or, how fast is this guy when he's running full speed with another guy who's got a bunch of offers and those kind of things. So I think with Dan Curcione also thinks, that's a byproduct too of I'm getting guys games against the top level competition that's getting them that spotlight where, that's film that's going to be watched by high-level college staffs.
It's valid film, and that's a good point because sometimes you got to talk differently to different groups of kids. They are playing against top level. So if they did make a big play and look who's on the other side of the ball and they show it to college coaches, it just validates their competition that they're doing right there. And you have to talk like that, even though you're trying to play to win a state championship game. There are parents or I call them street agents, and players that are looking at their cause for their future. And they're going to be playing a good football program that's going to validate their highlight films. But we got some good players too. They're young. Michael Thomas III, Zaire Day is having an outstanding, dominated last week. at D line. I know they were playing him a little bit of outside linebacker, but he's playing D line and just a ferocious guy. Looks like an all short type of player. Only a junior. Adam Yevanchek, that junior that didn't have any film that transferred in, is doing an excellent job on the O line. Love EJ Smith. His brother played a couple years ago. And Dante Veneri, I feel like he's been there 20 years and the old grandpa of the program. I expect him to ball out.
And that's the thing. I think for these young guys, it's huge just to as far as their future playoff aspirations as these guys get older and even better. Now you've played in that atmosphere. Now you've seen what it's like to have to go up there and face their crowd and their supporters and their atmosphere. It can be really intimidating when you're young. No matter, you can't prepare for it. You can only just go through it. So you have guys that are stars on that team that are freshmen, sophomores. So I mean, to get that kind of experience that young and get the confidence of like, hey, we made some plays. We could stay in this thing. So that I think is invaluable because what they want is as those guys are going to get older, they're going to say, okay, we went from like we saw it, we tested ourselves against it to like now, how do we just go up there and beat them? So I think that to me is a big deal as far as just getting that game under your belt and that experience under your belt. And the other funny thing is, I mean, cynically, and this is all these big games between these non-public teams, I feel like they're all scouting each other. Oh, that guy would look nice on our team next year.
Oh, they are.
Oh, wow. I mean, we could sure use him playing at receiver or running back.
Yeah.
So that's always like a subplot of this non-public bracket.
Yeah, you are. You mentioned two players, though. Hunter Johnson had a great game, 2 touchdowns. One of the most underrated football players. Like, he is a key part of their football program at tight end and linebacker. Just a real stud. Coach loves him. Really good football player. Only a junior. And Todd Lambertson. What a job he's done. I mean, they miss and avoid. Jalen Butler, he graduates, and they didn't have. They were missing a quarterback, and he kind of held the fort down a little bit this year, throwing over 1,000 yards. Ball security's been great. Getting the ball in the right spots. Got better as the season went on. And I think that's a credit to those two kids, getting them also playing Bergen Catholic, because that is where Coach was talking about in the beginning of the year. We need to play these teams. And this was a big game, beating Hudson Catholic, getting them. So this is, I don't want to say it's gravy, but I think it was such a huge game to get to where they want to be at, that I think they'll ball out and play Bergen Catholic.
Yeah, you can play with nothing to lose because you're not expected to even be in the game.
No.
So you can go up there and just let it all hang out because the expectation is that you're going to lose by multiple touchdowns.
Yeah. You ever go to Bergen Catholic game?
That part of it is one thing, and then I think that. Oh yeah, I've been up there. Yeah, it's great atmosphere. Great, they have a great fan base. It's real intimidating because their history, especially sometimes you occasionally get some of their alumni back, the stars, the past, and things like that.
I mean, if you go there,
they have an incredible tradition that they established up there.
Scott, when you go to
it's an intimidating place to play. All right, Rob, one of our best chances to win a state championship right up there with some of the others is Red Bank Catholic in non-public B. They're the defending state champions in non-public B. They're going to host Gloucester Catholic, the 8th seed, in a quarterfinal. They're a huge favorite in this game. Gloucester enters 5-4. Honestly, their schedule is kind of weak, not great. Like, they didn't play a lot of the other big non-publics.
No.
I guess for reference, they gave up 332 yards rushing to Shalleck, which is a Group 1 team that was blown out by Woodstown in the first round of the playoffs. So if Shalleck can do that to them, RBC has to be a huge favorite here with their running game. So to me, it's more you're looking forward to the winner of St. Thomas Aquinas and Holy Spirit in the semifinals. Holy Spirit now number 20 in the state top 10, 20 rankings from the NJ.com for what that's worth. As far as RBC facing another really difficult team. Obviously, DePaul on the whole other side of this bracket plays the schedule of death up there in North Jersey and took Don Bosco, the number 1 team in the state, to the wire in the 3-point game. So obviously DePaul is a very dangerous team too. But this feels like, now that it's funny, Tom's River North, I felt like was kind of like in the shadows there for a couple of weeks because they were just blowing everybody's doors off, heavily favorites. But now they're kind of back in the spotlight. Everyone's talking about their game with Kingsway. They're the number one team in the shore, blah blah. Meanwhile, RBC now with the bye last week, and they've been sitting in the shadows. And I think they're eager to prove, no, we are the number one team in the shore conference. And I think that starts this weekend.
Well, I don't think anybody in the shore conference wants to play Red Bank Catholic. So let's just get that out of the way. I mean, RBC, who's number one? Who cares? I want both of them to win the state championship. I mean, RBC, their state of their program, they're the defending non-public B state champions. They're defending. They've never won it 2 years in a row. They have a lot to play for. They're an American division. I mean, they're playing good football. I think Coach Lang has done a great job. He's got a lot of star power on that football team. And to keep them all in check, and they won a state championship, and they're playing for another one. The kids are all playing hard for him. That says a lot for their coaching staff, because that's hard to micromanage when you have a lot of kids that believe that they're, stars. And they are RBC. They are. Emmanuel Ross, I mean, he's quietly having a good season. He's not having star power numbers out there. He didn't catch 10 passes for 275 yards in one game yet. Maybe this week he might, but they pulled him out.
The other thing is with that, it's tough to even do that on RBC because the ball gets spread around. Yeah. There's so much talent that they're not going to really heavily rely. I mean, Sabino Portella will be a workhorse in the run game a lot of times. So that is understandable. But yeah, I think they've also got pretty good balance. If you have to play a slug it out in the mud running defensive game, they can do that. If they get opportunities because of Najee Rahman and Emmanuel Ross and some others, they'll hit you with big plays in the passing game. So Frankie Williams, he's elusive as a runner, can hit you with the deep ball. So they have pretty solid balance. I think the only thing, that gives you pause for them was that Seton Hall prep game a sign of something, or was it just a bad week? They got shut out, when they did play one other really quality non-public team, or was that, hey, they were better than us that day, but that's not our offense. That to me would be the only thing that would stick in your mind as far as them winning this bracket and finishing the job, because yes, are they going to have to play teams like Bergen and Boswell? No. But they're still going to have to play some quality teams after this. They're a huge favorite in this first game. But, they're going to have to make some plays against some good teams with, like, FBS level guys the rest of the way.
Scott, we got to understand that these are 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. They're a young team. Yeah, they got seniors, Sabino Portella, Najee Rahman, Michael Palmieri, Aiden Donahue. But you look at the other guys, Davin Bruton, you got Tyler Burnham, Lorenzo Portella, Emmanuel Ross, Frankie Williams. Stop me anytime. But they're young. So we're dealing with these kids. Yeah, they're the top team in the shore, and they're playing St. Peter's Prep. They lost. Big deal. They're still division champs. They're going to be playing for a state championship. They are the favorite. I know DePaul's coming at them and all that stuff. But Coach Lang has done a great job. They're a young football team. They really are.
Well, I think unfortunately, they know that, but the expectation level for that program is like, we don't care that you're young. You should win a state title.
Yeah, well, that's from inside.
That's the tough thing. You get to a certain level, a certain expectation level where people are like, well, we don't care if you only have a couple good seniors. You have all these other good players. Like, you should win it all. So I think that it's not easy to deal with, but it comes with the territory.
You're right.
And I think RBC players, when you talk to them, they're up to that challenge. They like that fact. They like to be the target. They like to be the number one team that people are coming after because, they don't want to play and just blow out games where they're heavy favorites. They want to test themselves against the best teams. So, to me, this is their time to shine. This next couple really just drive the point home. And like you said, make school history. They've never, since the playoffs started in 1974, they've never won two in a row.
Well, Scott, I mean, from the first play of the season, Frankie Williams and an RPO throwing to Robert Stolfa right over the safety's head for a touchdown. Everything came easy to him. Everything. The little stump in the road, where they beat. I mean, they lost to St. Peter's Prep, and then they went on a bye week, and they also had Curtis, and so they're kind of like not in the spotlight so much with the media. And now it starts up again. Their second season, they win a second state championship. They validated their program statewide. They really do. I think they have an absolute great shot at doing it. I believe in those guys. I think that they're motivated. They have some bulletin board stuff up on the wall. Team, like, why would you need it? But they have it, and they're playing for a cause. And I kind of think that Coach Lang is going to be sitting there in the finals, and hopefully, get that second championship, which would be big for also the Shore Conference.
Yeah, I mean, for so many years, until this recent stretch by RBC, it was always, well, RBC is a great non-public school for the Shore Conference, but not on the statewide level. But then they finally had the breakthrough where they beat St. Joe's Montvale, they beat Del Barton, they won their first state title since 1976 or something like that.
Correct.
So that was a big announcement on like the state stage, that we are a team to be reckoned with overall. And then they got another one. Obviously, it's different in that they're in this non-public B bracket. They're not playing Don Bosco. They're not playing Bergen Catholic or St. Peter's or those teams, which is the ultimate proving ground in New Jersey. But still, it doesn't mean that the teams that are in this bracket are slouch teams. They're really good. They've played hard schedules. So, yeah, you're going to have to really still earn it. But, yeah, this is another brick in the wall for RBC as far as just cementing their status as like a perennial top 10 team in the state and one of the best non-public teams.
You know what bothers me? You got people that send me stats all the time. Oh, my kid's got 125 tackles. He's got 136 here. To me as a coach, says, where's your D lineman? And if you're getting 136 tackles, that means you're on the field too long. Davin Bruton is the Mike linebacker, and they're beating people 30-something nothing going into the third quarter. Teams are throwing the football. So he's not making plays. Aiden Donahue's not making all these tackles, but they are legitimately the first team All-Shore guys. And also, when you're winning that bad, you're out of the game. So defensive stats are very misleading with these guys.
As somebody who for years when I was at the press and also in other of the sites I had covering the Shore, I would be in the associated press meeting where we would pick the all-state teams.
Yeah.
And a lot of the North Jersey guys would come down, with the Bergen Catholic guys and the Bosco, and they all had a million offers, and they were going to, and that was, their argument, because people would say, well, this running back only had 600 yards. How are you saying he's first team all-state? It's like, well, he averaged like 15 yards a carry because we were blowing everyone out, and he wasn't he wasn't a workhorse back like these kids from other schools. Yeah, when you're a really good team, especially these non-public teams, you're right. You're not really going to have stats that like jump off the page at you because you're not playing full games, and because your teammates are so talented, they're making tackles and making plays. You're not the one guy out there making every single play. So yeah, I think that definitely can be misleading when you look at like the running stats or the tackle stats. When you're like, it's just because there's so many good ones that no one's getting the lion's share of the numbers.
Scott, and every team has guys that you kind of got to juice up. Some guys you stroke, some guys you poke. There might be a receiver over there that might need a now route. Get him the football, make him happy. So somebody like Emmanuel Ross might catch that 80-yard pass down the like. They got some guys that they got to kind of feed the football too. We call them egos and attitude. We all get them. We all have them. But they have some playmakers on that team. I'm waiting for Emmanuel Ross to just have this breakout game of where the stats is also to his talent, because he's playing to the game and he's making his catches, 3 catches for 88 yards, a touchdown or 2 touchdowns. I want him to get those 10 catches for 275, 4 touchdowns, like the Millville guys getting and all that stuff. But exciting times at RBC. They're going to be a tough team in anybody they play in any of the rounds.